I guess my older sister. Well, I've got two older sisters, but one of them, Paula in particular, used to collect, like, you know, chart stuff in the 70s and disco tunes. She used to play them when I was getting ready to go to bed, and she was ready to go out. So I think I got an early love of music that way. But when I was around, I'd say 13 actually, that's when I first got my set of turntables, had to have them, and I started collecting records, hip-hop records, because I wanted to be a scratch DJ, as every 13-year-old did back then, back in the mid-80s. But from collecting hip-hop, I then started collecting the samples that the hip-hop artists were using, and I found that I was loving the music that I was hearing, and so I think that's where my collection sort of grew out a little bit, because you could collect rock, you could collect funk, you could collect soul, because, you know, all of these things were being sampled, so I guess that would be it. Been collecting seriously since I was about 13. I used to go to the black music record fairs in Marble Arch in London and the Kiss FM record fairs in Highgate with what little money I had from doing a paper round, and I used to pick up you know, some good sort of like little funk bits back then. So that would have been around about 87, 88, I guess. Well, since then I've amassed quite a few, got rid of a fair few as well, but I would say there's probably about 10,000 all in all. There's a fair few in here. But there is also another load that are in a lock-up somewhere else, and there's about 1,000 in the house, so yeah, a fair few, maybe, give or take, maybe a few less than that. I still collect old school hip hop, I collect soundtracks, I collect funk 45s, but like I said, if you love music, you can't help but, if you hear a good tune, regardless of what type of music it is, you know, I'll buy it. So there is absolutely everything here, from, you know, easy listening to classical to folk to psychedelic to funk to hip hop to jazz to soundtracks, absolutely everything really, indie, you know, punk, there's all sorts here. There's probably a bit of music from every genre. My wife, she's very understanding. I had a big record collection before we actually got together, so she kind of knew that they were here anyway. And you know, sometimes she rolls her eyes when I come back in with a big bag of records still, but no, she's pretty cool about it. My family, yeah, they don't mind. You know, it's just what I do really, and friends, well, I was just always the guy who had records, so yeah, no problems there, no problems. They all love it. I haven't actually spent that much on one individual record. I mean, I'm a collector, but I tend to like going to car boot sales, thrift stores, things like that to get mine, so as cheap as possible really. I'm not saying I'm mean, but I like the thrill of the chase. So I've probably only spent around about £50, $70 on a record, £50 on this Born in the Bronx vinyl and book set, which is a visual record of rap's early days by Joe Conzo. He did a book, and only I think 200 of these were made, if that, and it's good. I actually got, you know, the Cold Crush brothers to sign all the pictures on the inside, so it's quite special. It's probably worth more because of that. In regards to records that I've got that are worth a lot, quite a few. Nick Drake, 5 Leaves Left. This is the original first press in UK press on Pink Island. That's can be worth about $1,000 if in pristine condition. This used to be worth a fair bit. Moody, The Gentle Rain, which is like an easy listening funk thing from the UK. Lots of others. I've had, you know, Led Zeppelin's first album, which I sold because I needed the money, but that went for about $1,000. Some of these acetates, I've got a fair few of these, so these may be worth something to someone because they were never released. That's a funk 45, and that's a psychedelic folk fuzz guitar sort of 45, but they were never released, so it depends on what people want to play for them really. My advice is to do your homework, really, because I mean, I didn't get any advice, and I went out and bought so much rubbish. You know, you get a few good things, but a lot of it's rubbish. So I mean, there's plenty of websites that you can check, you know, Gem, Discogs and all those sorts of things, to see what's good and what's not. But you know, if you've got a passion for music, just go out and find something that looks interesting. You know, hairy people with beards on the front cover of an album from the 60s tend to denote that it's going to be pretty good. You know, don't pigeonhole music as well. So yeah, good luck. I think I'm a hoarder by nature. I used to collect things when I was a kid. It could have been anything. It could have been erasers, you know what I mean? I used to collect them. I used to collect, you know, toy soldiers and things like that. And I think as I grew up, it was just one of those things that I used to do. And being a DJ, you have to amass a certain amount of records, especially when you start playing out, because I did used to play out an awful lot. So you get a lot. And one of those things is just collecting the best things. So when you're playing out, you've got a good armoury of records. And even though I don't really play out as much anymore, you know, we do our show, so there's always things. I'm probably digging 5 days a week, even when I'm ill. You know, there's nothing better than getting up early in the morning and finding that car boot full of records that no one else has got to yet. It's a sick feeling.